My name is Bert.
My name is Milton.
And welcome to Wild Africa Experience.
Lovely show.
What are we going to talk about today?
Wow, let's talk about lions, eh?
Yeah, I've had a few encounters on the lions, and for those who know me, I'm sure you would second me on that one. You know, we've been around a few places in Africa, and remember I was telling you that one incident of 17 lions coming into camp just after dinner.
Wow. Yeah.
Hectic stuff, right?
It does happen. It does happen.
Yeah, but as far as I'm aware, you have a few safari belts and you've had a few lion encounters, and I'm sure people would want to hear what you've gone across lately.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard so much encounters across southern East Africa, but you know, you have a day where you say, wow, you know, today that was my day. But most of them, it was very, very good experience. One of the most experience which I can say I won't forget, that was in one of the game reserve where I was doing some safari walks, trainings, and we came across a pride of 12, and I wasn't in charge that time of the walk. But what happened is there was a guy who was a lead guide. So that guy, he knew exactly where the lions were. So what happened is when we bump into a certain corner, and all of them, they started charging. Usually lions, not all of them can charge, but that time we had a bigger pride of 12, all charging towards us. And since we were about 6 guides, and all of us were professional guides, we all knew exactly what we were going to do, but because there was somebody who was in charge, we had to wait for him to react, we had to wait for him to command and deal with the lion and do the proper drill. So it was hectic moments, but you know, generally lions, they're very comfortable with people as long as you respect their distance, and if they're not feeding, mating, or fighting, you need to be very careful. Whenever you have such an encounter, please stay away from them when you're on foot. On a game drive, yes, you can do that, but just try and keep a distance away from them.
Wow, that's quite interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Because I remember some time back also wild camping, and people always tell me about how it's dangerous to bump into females with cubs, you know?
That's right.
We were just sitting around the fire and chatting, and then the lions started roaring, and you know, I was just saying to my guests, I had 7 tourists from Germany. And then I told them, well, they don't sound too far. And just behind the tents popped out the first one. We all jumped. I went very close to the truck, and we were thinking, okay, what are we going to do, you know? As an overlander, usually I don't travel with rifles or any kind of ammunition. It's usually me and another guide. So we were a little worried, eh? And they came through, all the females, with their little ones, you know, which was so interesting because they never even looked at us. They walked right past, and we counted 17 in total.
Lions.
Yeah,
17.
after that, we needed a few toilet breaks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. You need to change your pants. Yeah, but you know what? What happened is when you're a professional guide, in places like Hwange National Park, where I was recently guiding, Manapus, a professional guide in Zimbabwe, you need to make sure that whenever you go out on foot, you need to have a heavy caliber with proper right ammunition, walking regalia, and as you walk, you need to be very, very vigilant, because certain times in the afternoons, when it's very hot, that most cats, they have a tendency of just relaxing under the shade. So you just need to check, keep your eyes peeled around, because anything can pop out. So you basically in an area where there's where you know that there are lions, just take a right longer loop where there's a bigger bush, because you can surprise it. There's one thing which you don't need to do to a lion. You don't need to surprise it, because if you surprise it, then it's a bigger problem. You can't stand your ground there, because lions, I would say my green light when a lion charges, I would, in a worst scenario, I would take it down at about, I would say 10 meters away. All right,
wow.
that's a charging lion. So you'd need to be in a very, very comfortable distance, maintaining your proper comfort zones so that the lion feels very comfortable. Because a lion, if it sees you at about 50 meters away, you now need to maintain the distance, keep your eyes right on the lion as you walk towards it, and check if possible, because sometimes a male might get off, or another female might go and look for some water or check where the cubs are. So just check your surroundings and make sure that you are in a nice open area. And in the event that something happens, you need to have a proper ground or somewhere where you can refer, where you can go around and use it as a comfort zone to yourself, actually. Yeah.
That's quite interesting because, I've had guests always asking me like, so are these lions going to eat us? Do they see us as food? It's a question that always come around. Do lions see humans as food? Because most of us guides, we tend to refer to it as, no, we are actually predators. We are super predators. So when they see us, what they see is potential competition.
Right.
So the point to where the lions will eventually say, I am going to attack, traveling around Botswana where the guides there don't use rifles or anything. I always walk around a little vigilant because I'm always worried a little bit that
That's right.
what if we hit a corner and then there's a female with cubs? And that's a very dangerous situation where you always hear stories whereby someone got taken down by a female in Kruger Park or in all places, and most of the time it's never in Botswana. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, that's right. So I've noticed actually across, I've done some years of guiding outside Zimbabwe. And I would say generally lions are very lethargic. I don't love to say they are lazy like what we always hear. They always relax and make sure that when it's very hot they're under the shade and just relaxing. The time whenever they get confronted, that is now the time where you are now in their comfort zone, into a danger critical zone where you'd basically that's the end. So whenever you're approaching them, you need to make sure that you are slightly careful whatever you're doing. And but generally they're cool. They don't have any problems. When you approach them on foot or even in a vehicle, they're cool. No worries. No,
speaking of lethargic, because there's this thing with lions whereby they're obviously a little different from your animals like elephants that eat 18 to 20 hours a day. Lions would need to actually use a lot of energy. So I'm sure their metabolism must be a bit higher than most of the animals that they don't need to waste energy if not necessary.
That's right.
So it's something quite interesting. And then there's this story that you were telling me about the other day, way back in the days. Well, we've known each other for quite a long time. We are actually brothers. So about the guides coining it the optimum foraging theory. Remember that? The theory about how a lion would perceive a prey by its size, and it calculates actually whether it's worth taking down a particular prey, because is it enough for a whole pride or for one lion? Is it worth going for? Otherwise it might not even catch it. Things like those. And you find that it's actually quite interesting when you talk about lions, that they're more clever than we actually anticipate.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially lions, they're very, they've got specialists. In a pride, they would know exactly who is very good in taking a buffalo, who is very good in taking an elephant, because there is a pride that is known as a Pampen pride. That's a Savuti pride. They were 35 when I last counted. I was very fortunate to see them in Savuti, and they were elephant hunters. So most of the plains game, they moved further south. So lions in the area, they've realized that, whatever we're going to hunt now or to eat now, it's going to be whatever is available. And they were elephants. So the Pampen pride, they used to be stationed closer to the pen. And as elephants, they're gregarious. They move in big family groups. So The rest of the group, they would come and drink and proceed. And usually those last males, older bulls or young males, those are the ones who get attacked by the pride. So they have specialists, one who's very, very good in taking any particular animal. And their eyesight, it's very amazing at night. I don't know.
Vision.
Yeah, binocular vision. I don't know if you've heard that they do have what they call tapetum lucidum, which is a massive reflective layer just behind the retina. That makes them to see with like 1/8 of the light which is needed by humans. So when it comes to total darkness, a lion can see in complete dark. It doesn't need light. It doesn't need stars. So they have advantage when it comes to hunting at night. And you look at whiskers, you know, they've got what they call vibrato hairs, you know. So those whiskers, they do sense, you know, they can detect, you know, whatever's happening, wherever they're going, they would know what's around, you know, sensing and it's quite amazing. So their capabilities of hunting at night is quite amazing, and the way they walk, lions are digitigrade. The heel never touches the ground. So when they're walking, they walk very quietly. They can actually get into a prey even 2 meters without getting known that they're there, especially when the light is amazing. So I would say lions, super hunters. They are great.
All right. So on that note, we're going to take a short break. We'll see you in a short while.
Stay tuned. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed our show. So basically now, I would want to explain to you where we would get lions in Zimbabwe, and what would be the great thing to do, probably great regalia to wear when you're approaching lions. And yeah, Zimbabwe, it's got quite a number of lions around. I would say, I can't say the best, but if you go to Hwange National Park, it's got very, very good pride of lions. And if you also go to Manapuz, it's got also a very, very good quite number of lions.
Yeah. Also, Matetsi, I've driven along Matetsi towards Robin's Camp, going on the way to Panamatenga. I've bumped into a few prides around that area. Gonarejo is
Gonarejo, it's also a very good
some
place.
Lions. Some big prides, black-maned lions, I've heard that they can be found around there. They're coming all the way from, because they found lions that we've been traversing along the Transfrontier Park coming from South Africa, the black-maned lions. I don't know if you ever seen them.
Oh yeah, I did.
Area.
I did.
Yeah.
And one thing in Zimbabwe is a very pristine country. So as you go to Victoria Falls from I would say Lupani area, you would start to bump into lions as you drive even your private vehicle. So as Kariba, as you leave Chinhoyi, you can start also to bump into lions along the road. So the best thing, folks, you need to be very careful. Try not to leave your vehicle if you see lions. Always leave a bit of a distance in case if a lion comes and bites your tire, you know, it can be another problem. So always close your window, and when you're in a safari where a professional guide or any guide in particular conducting that safari, please adhere and listen to his instructions. That will help you very much.
That's interesting. I also bumped into lions at a very unusual place the other day. I had just come out of Makuti on my way to Kariba, and then suddenly I hit a bend on those big bends, and then there was a lion just lying there, big male just lying on the side of the road.
That's right.
I might have been the only one who saw it, because all the cars were passing by, but me having a guiding eye, you know, I've got a trained eye. So I saw it, and I was like, folks, come on. This is it, eh? So it's quite interesting that lions, they tend to traverse a bit more and more. And I don't know if I ever told you the story in Vic Falls whereby they actually came into the neighborhood just around the bend. You know that wood road?
That's right.
Yeah, they took down a zebra right there.
Wow.
And for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, they were spotted moving around the edges of Victoria Falls Safari and towards the baobab tree. So I've never encouraged my guests to move around that area unattended. because anything can happen.
That's right. So be very careful if you're in resort towns, Victoria Falls, Kariba. Just be yourself, but try not to travel or walk at night. Otherwise, you can bump into some of these cats when they're very active.
And whatever you do not run.
All right.
It's probably the worst idea.
Great.
All right, on that note, see you on the next episode of Wild Africa Experience.